Alright, hello and welcome back to yet another no-name MAME game. Today's no-name MAME game is, of course, G-Darius. And if you've been paying attention, the wait a moment timer, it skipped a couple. Just the little things that you notice while the game's doing nothing. So, we're playing Darius, and you might remember Darius is the one that uses the fish theme. Presented, of course, by Taito. So, let's get in. So, we've got our choice of game modes. And let's go with 5, because 5 is a bigger number, and therefore the game mode is much better. And here we have, well, we have a disguised loading screen. Shh, don't tell anyone, that's a secret. But now we'll get right into the game, only like a minute after we started recording. So, we've got nice 3D graphics, or at least Saturn-era 3D graphics in their infancy. So the controls, very briefly, the first button, you can tap the button to do it, and it's your regular shot. B button is to suck up an enemy, and the third button is auto rapid fire. Always appreciate when a game like this add in a rapid fire, because that means they've probably got a charge on a button. So if you hold down the first button, you unlock a charge beam! Fire in my laser, so to speak. And of course, if I had just blindly enabled auto fire on my Control Rapid arcade stick, then it wouldn't have worked out quite so well. Well, I mean, then I can only shoot or charge. It's not such a dire issue because I never really like charging during games anyway. It always kind of leaves you vulnerable. But, I mean, some games really make you charge. If you ever played Giga Wing, one of the main gimmicks is that by charging, you can reflect enemy shots back at the enemies. And then you're like invulnerable and you get a bunch more score multipliers. So, and it also becomes like really addicting just getting used to charging back and destroying the enemies mercilessly. So let's try sucking up some enemies. I've heard that that's let's try putting in more coins. So like I was saying, let's try sucking up some enemies. I've heard that that's a gameplay gimmick in the various shoot-em-ups where you like suck up an enemy. I believe Zero Wing was an earlier one for the Genesis and arcade, of course. But now we have a nice spread shot, but we also have a little guy phantoming our main character, so a little hard to pay attention and focus, and I'm already dead. I didn't even see. That's how hard it is to focus. So you got a little hanger on. So you might have noticed no music. How could you? I've been talking so well. But, I'm assuming that's just because my arcade machine's not quite up to snuff for this game. But, I am assured that the music would be rockin'. So, I'm not entirely sure, but is there a shield of some sort? I imagine there is, because I've been taking a lot of damage and yet not dying a lot of deaths. Well, I have been dying a lot of deaths, but not all. So evidently, after you sucked up a guy, you press the button again, you make him go on a crazy suicide. Attack. Oh my god. That is one ugly mug. An ugly mug like this, we must eliminate him from the universe. Also, take a peek at the background. It sort of looks like Insanity personified. I mean, not only do you have a weird-looking cloud, but you also have the distinctive Mode 7 wave effects. Just making it far trippier and more drug-induced. And talking while you're playing is never a recipe for surefire success. But we'll persist on, and we seem to respond on the opposite end. You always gotta love it when video games don't take it. Oh, can't even charge in this guy. But you gotta love it when video games destroy little sacred cows. Like one of the most sacred cows, horizontal shoot 'em up, but you're on the left side of the screen moving right. But this game just breaks all the rules. Thankfully your ship auto-turns to face the action. Some games have it where you have to press a button. It's nice, but it can get overwhelming a little bit. But it's nice to break up the potentially formulaic horizontal shoot 'em up style. Also, you might remember, the thing about Darius, the first one, was that it came in a super wide screen format. So if you ever try booting up your own arcade machine and playing it on your own, then you see it like its natural resolution is that it spans your entire screen. And that's with, like, making it all small. If you ever played a vertical shoot 'em up, you kind of understand the effect, except it's horizontal. It's just really, really wide. Oh, I just noticed on the lower right-hand corner that we only have so many capture balls. Oh, gosh, that's... Huh. Well, that's kind of cool. You can capture missiles. It's... I mean, shoot-'em-up games are entirely different when you're playing them for score and they're playing for one-credit clears. Right now, it's just kind of a casual shoot-the-fish sort of adventure. Well, one thing about Darius that I've noticed, at least from this playthrough, is that your ship isn't, like, super powerful. You really have to earn your own power-ups. Now, I think this game makes it a little easier in that it's got the, and just like Outrun, we can choose our own path. I will choose this way because blue skies are always... Ooh, dinosaurs. But... Oh, right, something power-ups. Yeah, so Darius really makes you work for your power-ups. Some shoot-'em-ups just kind of like make you vaguely collect a couple keys and then you're golden. And I kind of wish the music was working because I've played a couple Darius games in the past and the music was pretty rockin'. It's... I don't know, I mean, it just kind of goes to show you just how much music builds into a whole coherent atmosphere for a video game. If you ever think of making your own video game, which I might question why, I'll do it, but if you are, never forget, music is incredibly important. Yeah, music is incredibly important. Right. Otherwise, honestly, actually, Darius seems a little generic. I mean, I've heard a bunch of stuff, oh, G-Darius is the best ever, but, I'm not really digging it. I mean, I guess the capturing enemy ships mechanic is a little nice, but it's also kind of gimmicky. It doesn't really seem to help you a whole lot. I know you probably tuned out, and I'm thinking of tuning out myself. That being said, the lush environments are still keeping me in this game. If I ever dare to look at the background, I see like the lush tropical landscapes. I'm sure it is just a bunch of layered 2D sprite. Well, some are, but the background itself is like the far background is a lush 2D sprite, but all the other 3D polygon stuff, I mean, despite being like in the earlier ages of polygons, and which tend to look a little rough, a little unpolished, they're using them pretty well. And I mean, it's a lot easier when you've got the backgrounds, and everything in the foreground just sort of looks like a sprite anyways. You can really hide behind that. But I'd say they're doing pretty well. Well, I mean, it's kind of like when video games have aged poorly. Sometimes they don't age poorly, sometimes they still look amazing. I wouldn't say this game looks amazing per se, but it's still looking pretty good. I can almost believe that the trees are sprites even, but as you rotate around, you can see that they really rotate dynamically. Alright, well, Darius, I don't know. I mean, it's a good shoot 'em up, and I'm pretty sure anyway, if you're really a fan of the franchise, you'd enjoy this game, you'd love it. But it kind of takes a certain kind of person to get into it. I mean, it's a little generic. I mean, it doesn't have a whole lot that sets it apart. So, well, we saw G-Darius, and it was... Oh, I get ranks? I'm a silver owl. I was going for green cat, but, you know how things are. So, I mean, we played G-Darius. It's a little generic, a little lame, but, it has its redeeming things. It's got pretty nice visuals. And I'm pretty sure the music is pretty good, just, yeah, not always working, you know? Well, on that note, this cat's got a scat.